بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
إذا السماء انفطرت.
سورة الانفطار الله سبحانه وتعالى قال بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إذا السماء انفطرت بريد بيريد قولون قد يسا يسزا
وإذا الكواكب انتثرت.
وإذا الكواكب انتثرت يزير بالمنين قد يساساني نزير مكنكمكا
وإذا البحار فجرت.
وإذا البحار فجرت النيانجا زناب الزيدي بيرانجا زيتابودوا ميفوك النيانجيمو نيو منيو نيتاليا منيو زيزيري ومو الله نغا زيفود النيانجيمو
وإذا القبور بعثرت.
وإذا القبور بعثرت كبوري وزيدي بيرانجا زيفوكودوا يابانا نينزباتا ميسوكو بروكام نمبيري يوميوا مجرابيه.
Episode 1. I had a conversation with Bianca Cruz Benitez of San Antonio, Texas punk metal band Amygdala. We talk about punk, living with borderline personality disorder, trauma, and being in a band while dealing with mental health issues.
Everything is just so triggering. We feel things so immensely. So sometimes one little thing can set us off for weeks.
On episode 2, we had Lauren Denizio of Los Angeles, Brooklyn melodic punk band Warriors. We talk about them discovering the punk scene, living with anxiety, and finding the right kind of self-care program, including medications.
I would have a really hard time getting work done. I wouldn't want to go out. It wouldn't be super severe, but it would be a very noticeable physical thing that was happening.
Dylan Slocum of Los Angeles-based emo punk band Spanish Love Songs came on episode 3. He was very open about living with depression and his battles along the way. Plus, we got to play the Cranky When Depressed game.
This is a very musician-specific one, but I hate, if I'm not in a great mood, I hate hearing loud music being played around me. If you're not feeling well and you're in the green room and somebody's banging on something or just making noise for no reason, it's just take it down.
On episode 4, I was joined by Garrett O'Donnell of emotional hardcore band Planes Mistaken for Stars. He opened up about his history of mental illness and addiction. We talked about panic attacks and how he has dealt with them over the years.
30 seconds into our first song, and everything in my life changed. Right then. I didn't know what it was going to mean for the future. I didn't know anything except for I was certain I was dying right then, and I could not get out of my skin.
Shauna Potter was the guest on episode 5. She's the front person of political feminist hardcore punk band War on Women and author of Making Spaces Safer, a guide to giving harassment the boot wherever you work, play, and gather. You can find that at akpress.org. Shauna and I talk about the need to provide safer spaces for those with mental illness and what venue staff and allies can do to help.
Of course, we don't know if the person behind the bar is going to be cool, if we tell them what we're going through, and sometimes that makes it easier to just not tell anyone. So you struggle alone, and I think that's too bad.
Ryan Patterson of musical entity Photocrime, an ex-guitarist, vocalist of the now-defunct Coliseum, was the guest on episode 6. Ryan and I discussed the effects of negative body image and how it can lead to other forms of mental illness, including eating disorders and anxiety.
Emotion and insecurity and all that tied up with that feeling of binging and feeling full and satiated and having your mouth full or your stomach full. Those are pretty clear things, filling voids in your life.
Episode 7 was a doozy. Todd Kowalski, bass player, sometimes vocalist, and hype man for Propagandy, one of Canada's all-time great punk bands, was on the show. Todd and I talked about staying positive in a negative world, the importance of believing in yourself, and how awesome the crossover hardcore bands were in the 80s.
I remember walking past my garage, coming home from school, walking past all the icicles, feeling literally like if I wasn't listening to this song right now, I don't think I could go on.
Episode 8 featured Nikki Nailbaum, former vocalist of the recently broken up 8-piece party punk band Molly Rhythm. Nikki and I talk about taking care of your mental health when a band breaks up and finding a way to move forward.
I feel guilty. I feel angry. I feel like an evil Disney queen locked in a castle, just wanting to yell about it. But that's really not so much of the band as the way, I guess, it happened.
Episode 9 featured Johan Svanberg. He talked about independent musicians and mental health. Johan is the CEO of Record Union. a music distribution company that undertook a revealing study on musical artists and mental health. With the results, Johan's crew have developed a wellness starter pack for those looking to have a healthier mind.
Younger artists are less likely to get help, but younger artists are also overrepresented in all the numbers. So there's this big group of young artists that are having these problems, but they don't really know what to do with them.
And finally, episode 10 featured Justin Pearson, owner of 31G Records and member of a bunch of amazing punk bands, such as The Locust and Dead Cross. Justin explains how punk rock helped him get through tough times in his life. He details his struggles with post-traumatic stress disorder because of childhood abuse.
I think punk is something that was kind of born out of struggle for mental health, to better people's mental health. It was like a reaction to the world that people lived in.
Well, that brings us up to speed. If you haven't heard all these episodes, I encourage you to go back and check them out. They are available at soundcloud.com/screentherapy or wherever you listen to podcasts. To get in touch, you can message me at the SoundCloud page or email me directly at jasonschurz@telus.net. That's JASONSCHREURS@telus.net. Next week on Screen Therapy, I have Buzz Osborne from legendary heavy hitters Melvins. So until then, wait for it, take care and be well.
If you don't